Lyle this time, but I do have an excerpt from another book from Diana Gabaldon. But I'm tacking that onto the end of this video because it's fairly long. And for those of you who are here for the other updates, I don't want you to be like, oh, I'm not watching this and leave. So let's catch up on a couple of things. We're going to start with a very happy Tuesday to everybody, and especially to young Charles Vandervaart because he had himself a birthday today. Today is his birthday. Now, anybody want to guess? And I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the mic or at the camera right now. I'm trying to fix it real quick, but anybody want to venture a guess as to his age or the year he was born? Yeah, the kid that makes me go oh, blah, blah, and can't lose myself, lose my mind here. He's literally half my age today. He is 25 today. Very happy birthday to Charles. Hopefully next time I see you, I'll be able to breathe normally and have a conversation and not sweat. But we'll find out, I'm sure, at some point. Bad Girl Fangirl shared this one, though. So a very happy birthday to Charles Vandervaart. Hope you enjoy your celebration. Kolebreth Sonagut. And yeah, so there he is. He's done a fantastic job as William. I cannot complain about anything at all, except for the fact that I can't seem to control myself in front of him. Other than that, it's great. Got some good stuff from Lauren, though. As we all know, she's leading her own show. She's doing her own projects. This is a little bit on that. It says the Italian Rev and Lauren Lyle 7 share this. When you work with people and you do projects, you suddenly realize that actually that is what it's all about. That sometimes the scripts can be great or they can be bad, but if you got amazing people to work with, it can be great in the end, which absolutely can be true. It's all about the chemistry, and on the set of Karen Peary, there was plenty of it, according to Lauren Lyle, proving once again how passion, hard work, and teamwork always pay off. And that's absolutely true. We've got this great photo shoot she was doing. Really was hard for me to pick a picture, but because they're all really, really nice. She's got these lovely dresses on. I love the lace gown here, because check that out. That's just really beautiful. And they're playing with it here because we got a picture here and a picture here. Just see, again, just lovely, lovely, lovely. Got a little bit more here of Lauren. The video is sidewaysy at some points. I cannot fix that, unfortunately. The Italian Rev and Lauren Lyle also shared, I think it's what it is to be number one on the call sheet, as she is on Karen Peary. It is your party. I felt like it was my responsibility that the set was a happy place. Magnetic on screen and refreshingly real off of it, Lauren Lyle opens up about the responsibility of leading a set, the delicate balance between humor and heartbreak, embracing vulnerability as a form of strength, and her dream of a seaside commune with friends, coffee, and her cat. Aww. A brilliant mix of honesty, wit, and determination, just like the characters she brings to life. She's really good at playing those type of characters, too, where you're like, is she going to have a problem here? No. I mean, would you want to mess with Marcelly on a bad day? I would not want to mess with Marcelly on a bad day. Good date, really. But yeah, some lovely images, lovely stuff from her photo shoot, sideways as it may be. Yeah, I enjoyed meeting her in person too. Just like pure charm and cheeriness, you know? I also have a little bit of Sam for us. The Vicarious Voyager shares this one, though. You can see down here that it's Jesco FK and Sale. I think originally you shared it. It is a repost. While out for a stroll in the streets of Kinsale towards the end of last week, I bumped into this absolute gentleman, Sam Hune. And as for Outlander Stars Season 8, je suis prêt. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, you should, which we all agree. Jessica is back open tomorrow and then for the rest of the week. Okay, I'm not sure what that part is, but awesome, terrific. Love it when people share that they just randomly ran into Sam because Sam has a life. Or any of the actors, really. We think that they're like working, and we rarely get to see them have fun. But come on, they have lives. They just don't need to share it all with us. Hey, Cynthia, Kathy, how are you doing today? I was watching Lauren Lyle before I even watched out. Really? Really? Cynthia, tell me what you were watching her in beforehand, because honestly, the first time I ever saw her was on Outlander, and I adore her acting. She's fantastic. Can I just say that I find strength in other short women who you wouldn't want to mess with in a dark alley. I used to be that short woman. I'm still a short woman. The, the McLean brothers. Oh, the McLean brothers. Yes, this is a very cool one too. I forgot what I was sharing. The McLean brothers, who were doing the three brothers playing music and sailing, they made it. They've arrived. So this is having rode from Peru to Australia. Our beard growing bagpipe playing heroes are now flying back home to Edinburgh. How incredible would it be if they hit their 1 million fundraising goal by the time they land? With less than only 30,000 to go. It's well within reach. That is awesome. And the wonderful Sam Hune is with us for the final push. Let's check this out because Sam, of course, he's saying something and we would like to know what it is, right? I believe so.
Well, congratulations to the McLean brothers. If you didn't know, three Scottish brothers have just rowed across the Pacific Ocean. They're currently on an aeroplane back from Australia to sunny Scotland, and they're trying to raise £1 million for charity, for clean water in Madagascar. If you haven't supported them, please do. What an incredible journey. They broke a world record. I think they rowed for 139 days. They grew beards longer than mine. They played bagpipes. Come on. Please support them so when they land back in sunny Scotland, they'll have hit their target. What an incredible journey, boys. Congratulations. You deserve a wee dram. And I wish you all the best. And hopefully you'll keep your feet on dry land for a couple of days.
A couple of days.
Well,
a whole couple of days, huh, Sam? Is it really pushing for it? Let's see. I think Sam should give each one of them an entire case of whiskey. I know where he can get some. That's what Cynthia said. Cynthia, I agree. He should be donating whiskey to this cause. At the very least, donating it to the men so that when they do get home, they can just, like, have a party. Patricia. Hi, Patricia. How you doing? I cannot see or hear me. You cannot see or hear me? I don't know how to... does everybody else, can you see or hear me? Nobody else has said anything, and I did check all my sound things before I started. It looks like it's... I'm so sorry, Patricia. I do not know, but I do believe that might be on your end. I apologize. It needs a new... Everybody needs a new computer. Sam could give them Sam could give him the money, but that defeats the purpose. It's supposed to be a community project, which for these fundraisers is kind of the point. With my fundraiser, it was desperation, and I appreciated everybody helping me. But this one is for the planet, and it shouldn't be all up to one person, to be honest. That's my thought on it. But yeah, he absolutely could just give him the $30,000. Could have bought my Jeep too, but we didn't go there. We have other stuff here. We have Ducati shared this one. It is a thank you to Sam. So thankful for the opportunity to test these incredible bikes in the beautiful Welsh countryside. Huge thanks to the entire Ducati team for the expert tuition and warm welcome. These bikes and the entire weekend was exceptional. And so we've got this video, just clips put together of Sam testing out a bike. Well, I mean, it's so shocking because Sam detests anything with two wheels. No, we had a great time here. I think when it comes to, like, my husband loves bikes too. I know nothing about them. I can tell you the difference between several Harleys, but he likes sport bikes a lot like Sam seems to get. Although a Ducati, let's see, I believe the other, like, I like a good Harley. Not a lowrider, but like a sport. But you know what? Was it Buell? Buell is like the brother company that's often seen in England. And I know this because I picked out somebody's tattoo for Buell many years ago. And they lived in England. Let's see. Yeah, that is really cool. I'm really happy for him. Maybe I should get a motorcycle to go with my Jeep. No. Anyway, so that is all I have for Sam. I'm going to tell you this right now. That is all I have for the actors. The next thing I have is the Diana Gabaldon excerpt, and that will be the end. So if you don't want to hear me reading terribly from Diana's book, but you liked the video so far, then please do give it a like. If not, give it a thumbs down, comment below, let me know either way. I also do want to take this time before I go move on to the last post to thank all of my members. And thank you so much to Melissa. I think it was Melissa who pointed out that the 15th is on a Monday. So our normal chat is going to be on the Tuesday on the 16th because there's just no way. Every time I try to plan my Mondays and I go, oh, and I have like 2 free hours right here. No, those 2 free hours never happen. It is from 5:30 in the morning until we are done at 10 o'clock, and I have no stop time. So I'm not going to add another thing to do on Monday, but I will add it to Tuesday. So a week from today, we will be doing our members chat. Because I can't do my scroll right here, I want to take a special moment as well to thank those of you who did help me to get my vehicle. As you know, it's still under the need to get a few more repairs, but I'm not requesting any assistance from you guys anymore. You guys went above and beyond to make sure that I had that vehicle in time to see my dad on a regular basis, and my heart is so full from that. Yeah, I'll make myself cry if I say any more, but I just do want to thank everybody for that. And now we're going to move on because I've just been leaving this so we can watch Sam Red. We're going to move on to this one. It is yet another excerpt from Diana Gabaldon. Okay, I'm going to read this through for best I can. And I do have the subtitles on for those of you who are across the pond or anybody who's not a native English speaker. I will try to speak slowly and clearly so the subtitles will make sense. Okay? All right, let's do this. Okay, this is A, for fun, and B, a brief illustration of how books and film work. This is a brief excerpt from the first prequel book, which I'm thinking of calling A Bird in the Hand. Oh, that's lovely. But not set on it yet. NB, I wrote this 3 or 4 years ago. The copyright exists from the moment of creation in a concrete form, but is updated to the current year until the book is published, at which point that year is set at the beginning of the copyright period. That is why it says 2025. None of us are going to copy your stuff, Diana. Trust me. Well, I trust me. I don't always trust everybody, but none of my viewers are going to copy your stuff and be like, I wrote it. So we're all good. NB also. Part of my reasons for posting excerpts, as I always have, is that I believe in handing out free samples rather than depending on a publisher's notion of good cover art. Ooh, I like that. In this particular instance, I also wanted to make it clear that there will be books that tell this story. Okay, so we kind of have been wondering, we know she's written some stuff, but is she actually going to publish it? And her plan is to publish the books that this story that we're watching in Blood of My Blood is based on. All right, excerpt time. Let's see what we can do. Excerpt from A Bird in the Hand, tentative title, Book 1 of the Blood of My Blood, in question mark, prequels, copyright 2025, Diana Gabaldon. Chapter 1. Ellen Mackenzie, eldest of the children of Jacob Ronald Grant Mackenzie, chief of Clan Mackenzie, well, the late chief, if only by moments, but she'd think about that later, grabbed Lead Watt from behind and dragged her out of the room, clapping a hand over her slobbering mouth to stifle her cries. Hush, you wee gobshite, she hissed in the kitchen maid's ear. Do you want to be dead? The lass was stiff as a broom, and Ellen could feel a scream boiling up from the girl's wame to her throat. She let go the lassie's wrist and shifted her hold to that throat, squeezing. The throttled scream trickled out, and Alid's nose like the noise of a piping, deflating butt, thanked Jesus and his mother more quietly. Sorry, I read that badly. Some of this is kind of funky here. It was possible that no one else heard the similar noises of her father had made when he died on top of Alid a few moments ago, and Ellen prayed that was so. She'd been running up the tower stairs with her hair on fire, meaning to have it out with the old Gormerl, and had met no one on her way, but folk came and went this way all day and half the night, and she thought she maybe had no more than the time it would take to pull her stockings to get this feeble-minded wee whore out of sight. Tell us how you really feel. There were 2 rooms on the staircase below her father's speak-a-word room. Her parents' bedroom, at least the old fool hadn't done it in her late mother's bed, and Ned Gowan's chamber below that. She was about to go to the bedroom, but heard maids' voices inside, and instead adjusted her hold and trundled Alid down to the stairs like a rolled-up mattress and shoved her into the lawyer's room. Ned was sat by the window reading. He looked up when Ellen kicked the door open, but just blinked once and raised his scanty brows when she pushed the maid in and yanked the door behind them. It's Adid. I'm so sorry I'm getting this name right. Adid was naked and now curled up on the floor with one hand on her head and the other trying to cover her breasts, making breathless wee squeals. Ned rose to his feet without hurry, went to the bed and pulled off a quilt. He dropped it over the lassie, who went as silent as a covered parrot, and looked at Ellen. "My father's dead," she said, and burst into tears. End scene. Okay, does anybody have a better... Okay, Katie, I could watch Sam sitting on time. Okay. Through the tears, she saw Ned Gowan's pale blue eyes go wide behind the spectacles. He glanced down at the quivering lump on the floor, back at Ellen's face, and then he was with her, her cold hands in his warm ones, giving her refuge and lending her strength. Of course, Ned is such a nice guy. "It will be all right," he said, squeezing her hands. "It will be all right." It was the sort of thing folks said for lack of anything better. She nodded, for lack of anything better. She heard the shock under his words, though, and something she thought might be panic. He drew her hands towards him, and she followed. Then he stood on his toes. Ned was a wee man. She stood 2 hands higher than him in her stockings, and hissed into her ear. Did he finish? Oh, jeez. You know what? No daughter wants to answer that question. Okay. What? For an instant, she had no notion what he meant. But then she recollected that instant's glance at the maid servant. Less time than it would take a clock to tell a second, but plenty of time for the abacus that lived in Ned Gowan's head to rattle and click its way to comprehension of the situation. And immediately after that, the most important question. "How in the name of Mother Mary would you think I'd know a thing like that?" she snapped, jerking her hands out of his. That's a fair reaction. A glint of his spectacles that might be amusement, but she hoped it wasn't, because she didn't want to have to choose between taking his help and kneeing him in the soft parts. "Cullum said you were a virgin," he said with a note of approval. For Cullum, she was sure. "And what business is that of his or yours, you wicked wee blatherskite?" Oh my gosh. She glanced down her nose at him, wiping wet off her cheeks with the back of her hand. She can't well enough what he and Cullum thought was their business and why, but she had a sudden strong urge to make him admit it. He didn't, but walked over to the blanket-covered lump and nudged it gently with the toe of his shoe. It shuddered and mumbled something that sounded like a prayer against cowpox. "What's the lass's name?" For an instant, she couldn't bring it back to mind. The maid was new, but then it popped up. See, now it says Alida. Okay. Her folks are from Cromarty. She's no been in the castle above a week. Despite herself, she was tilted back her head and gave the ceiling above a hard look. Randy old bugger. But her heart was cleft for him. Nonetheless, and she sniffed back more tears. Alid. Ned was crouched beside the huddled blanket. He was sniffing too, but nothing to do with tears. "What are you doing, Ned?" Ellen asked. Her breath had come back, and she stopped greeting. She was quivering with shock and anger, but the half-formed thought that had sprung into her mind as she bundled Ali down the stairs were coming clear now. What was it the English shouted when the king died? "The king is dead! Long live the king!" That was maybe a tidier way of going about it, giving the crown to the eldest son and have done with it. But given what little she kent of English kings, it seemed no way of ensuring you got a good king. Look at her father's two sons. And that, yeah. And that, she thought, was what Ned was thinking, had been thinking since she'd burst into his room with the terrified, naked lass. The lass who in fact smelled like a dead boar, although Ellen hadn't paused to notice at the time, let alone think what it might pretend. Could the girl be seen with her father's seed getting with child right now in front of them? The chieftain is dead. Who shall be the chief hereafter? End section. All right. And it looks like the last bit here is from Diana again herself, so I will do my best to read this. I do stumble through the Scottish slang, and I don't know what the poor woman's name is, but we'll see. Okay, you can see that the story begins in both print and film at roughly the same place, the death of Red Jacob Mackenzie, but is focused and told quite differently. I, or any other author, can do things in print that film can't do, or can't do as easily. While film can do some things better than print, for those of you who watched episode 1 of A Blood of My Blood, you saw a series of wonderful visuals, the funeral preparations for Red Jacob Mackenzie, the gradual revelations as to the family members, and eventually the major conflict that will drive a good bit of the ongoing story, the power struggle among Red Jacob's children for control of the clan and its property. The visuals support the story, but also immerse the viewer immediately in the world of the story. Scotland, castles, tartans, clocks, a gathering, etc. I'm trying to get to the picture down here. And etc. The story is controlled by the way and the sequence in which it's presented. For the first half of the episode, we're pretty much submerging ourselves in atmosphere and lining up the main characters. It moves slowly, but the visual aspects are both impressive and interesting. It keeps you watching. With the written word, you depend on the reader's imagination to conjure up the visual details from the words and their own imagination. But you have the advantage of not being limited to the visual or audible. You can use all 5 senses. A written account can change focus instantly and reveal what people are thinking. The visual depends on evolving dialogue, for the most part, for the plot. I'm not saying either medium is better. Both can be great, but it's interesting to see how they work. The writer's medium uses the reader's own imagination, while film imposes the maker's imagination on the audience. The written version also has no limits of budget. Yeah, that can make a huge difference and can supply a lot more information more quickly. This is why film adaptations usually can only use a fraction of a written story. It takes an immense amount of work and expense to render a story in visual form, and it's a lot slower. I hope you enjoy both the show, eventually, and the book. I hope you enjoy the show and eventually the book. The photo here is of Castle Leoch, which is the set of Clan Mackenzie. Good, we can get that in there all the way. It actually made up Castle Leoch while writing Outlander. I was quite surprised to find out what the real Mackenzie's castle was called. I've since become good friends with John Mackenzie, clan chief, and my husband and I were guests at the castle a few years back. If you'd like more information and lovely photos on Clan and Castle on their Facebook page, it is Castle Leod. It's Castle Leod, not Castle Leoch. That was my bad. Castle Leod. All right, cool. So we could actually check that out if we want to. That is so cool. And a really nice, the comparative between how the story starts is basically the same, but how it's presented very differently because of what is written or what can be shown on a television. That always fascinates me, and it's something that I do with my daughter or all of my kids. We would read books and then watch the movies, or read a book and then watch the TV series, because I wanted them to understand the difference of storytelling and the limits of presenting through both mediums. So that's really great. Thank you so much, Diana. Always trying to give us a little something extra to think about as fans of your stories, of your writings, and of course, as fans of the television series. So, that's very cool. I appreciate that very, very much. And that is all I have today. If you stayed through this whole thing, I appreciate it. And I will remind you again to give her a thumbs up because you might have liked it. That's why you're still here. Just thanks to everybody for your views, for your shares, for for your fandom of this wonderful show. I love Outlander. I'm enjoying Blood of My Blood so much. I could become a super fan of that. Imagine if that sucker goes on for more than a couple of seasons. We could be at this for a while. A big thank you to everybody. Hey, Jackie, I wish she would finish book 10 and set. You know what? She's working on all of them. She really is. I think book 10 it's finished, or at least really, really, really close to it. But there's always edits and revisions and the timing of release, and there's so much to it, especially when she's competing with the television show as well. So it could be tricky. Hopefully we'll hear something soon, because I'm pretty sure I remember saying it's done. It's just not done. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Again, thanks to everybody for joining me today. Kathy, Jackie, and Cynthia. I do believe tomorrow, and please correct me if I'm wrong, ladies. Tomorrow night we have Melissa, Cynthia, and Jackie for Alien, which I still have yet to watch. Never seen it before. I'm going to be watching it today. Wish me luck. I like Sigourney Weaver, so this will be good. I enjoy her quite a bit. That's it, guys. That's it. It is a very good Tuesday, I believe, and I hope that you have a great Tuesday. Stay safe. Do something fun. Make yourself smile. I'm gonna go yell at the post office and figure out if they have fixed my post office box yet. I was gonna go yesterday, but like I said, when I thought I'd have a couple of hours free, I didn't. So that did not get done. So wish me luck on that front. I wish you luck on the rest of your day. Aliens, yay! I cannot believe you have. I know. It came out when I was too little. My parents were very, very strict, and then I just never had a chance to do it. Although, you know what? Now that I think about it, I think I saw the second one or a good portion of it, but never the first. And I know I saw the one where she's on the prison ship. It was that third or fourth one. I don't even know. But I never saw the first. So I want to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. And I will probably have something similar to the reaction Jackie had with The Princess Bride, which is, if I'd seen it when it was made, I'd probably like it more. I'm probably going to be so picky about the special effects. I'm terrible. All right, guys. Have a really great rest of your day. Thanks a lot for joining us. Hope you got something good out of the excerpt. And Sam riding around on a Ducati. And plus Lauren Lyle and Charles and everybody. Yeah, we had a good time, I think. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, most likely. Well, at the very least, tomorrow night to talk about Alien. And thank you again, Kathy, for keeping me up on some of these things, because... well, we have to talk, because something happens when I check them on my phone or my computer. Some of the things don't transfer. So if I miss something, you're like, why didn't she share that? Because I can't find it again, or it wouldn't show. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I'll talk to y'all later. Love y'all. Be safe out there. I don't have anything else to say, do I? I hope not. I'm out. I could go take a shower.